Hello and welcome to the Knock on KCLR and Scoreline.ie's weekly rugby podcast. Tom Crowley and Paddy Brown joins us this evening. Gentlemen, how are you?
Hi, Stephen.
Good stuff. All smiles after last weekend anyway. There's wins for the firsts anyway, at least in the games. There was a lot of, I suppose, unsurety going into it. Carlow, Athy, Kilkenny, Cill Dara, after, I suppose, Tom losing out to Cill Dara the week before. And then Suttonians coming down from Dublin as well, Paddy. Nice to get a win over them because they're fighting it out with the big Dublin teams up there.
Yeah, we were very glad to get that win. It was important, and it meant that in the table we leapfrogged. They were ahead of us, and now we're ahead of them in fourth position, and they're gone into fifth position. So it was an important win. All right, we had beaten them quite well in the first match of the season up there, but they have improved a bit since then, and were climbing up the table. So we were very relieved to get that win. You would say after half time that it was going to be a story of the same old. We went in at 22-8, and but it was a nervous enough lead as it proved to be. They started the match better than we did. Usually we start quite well, but they started the match and got a converted try and an unconverted try and a penalty to go 8 points up after about 6 minutes, I'd say. But the forwards really came into the game then and really took over, and carried the ball in a series of drives, which really created two of the three tries. The first one was there was a series of thrusts, and Paul Canavan who was playing out half, was on hand to touch down. So and then shortly after, Sean O'Brien, after a similar series of thrusts and bursts, was on hand to finish off another forward dominated scrum, and Stephen Smith then was sin binned, and they had a sin bin as well, Dara Kelly, but Martin Cole went over for another forwards try, just about on the 30-minute mark. So they almost scored another try, which would have bonus point to try before half time, but they didn't. And so the interval score was 21-8, and Sean O'Brien was yellow carded early in the second half, and their man James Booker, the winger, did all the damage. Then he scored two brilliant tries from far out and broke a lot of tackles, which we would be concerned about. And they got to within 6 points of us. And it was looking quite shaky, and especially after losing big leads to Ashbourne and to Bective, and we talked about it last week about sort of, was it a lack of fitness or what was why we're Tullow not finishing out matches. But anyway, they did come back into it then in the last 10 minutes, and they had a close-in penalty, which it was a hard one to call whether to go for a fourth try or to maybe make it a two-score match, but they decided to do that and took the 3 points, and that's how the score finished up. And Suttonians were very disappointed because that also deprived them of even a bonus point, so they didn't get a try bonus point or a losing bonus point. So yeah, it reversed that trend of losing big leads, and I suppose that was a relief to us all. So, and the table now, we're in fourth place on 22 points. Sea Point and Monkstown have and Bective there's a bit of a gap there. They're on around the 30 mark each of them. Suttonians back in 18. And the other surprise in our division, I suppose, was the fact that Gorey got their first win of the season against Ashbourne and put up a good score against Ashbourne. I did feel the day we played them, they seemed to have turned a bit of a corner, and they were very well up for that match. And so obviously they got off the mark last week. They're still bottom of the table on 10 points, and Wicklow on 13 and Ashbourne on 14. So there's a 5-week break now, and then there's a three match block, and we'll need to take something out of those if we want to sort of stay safe. Bective on the 13th of January, and followed by Wicklow and Ashbourne both at home. So you'd like to think we'd get something out of some of those anyway. The other thing I think, which is an interesting aspect of going up into fourth place, that we now, I think, we'll get a bye in the first round of the Towns Cup. I think that's the top four teams in Division 1A get a bye. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. Maybe the extra cup match is often a good thing, but The senior teams get their second teams also get a bye because of their match schedules. So that was the round of the first, and as I said, glad to get back into winning ways after losing a few matches. We felt we could have got something out. We've won the last two. Our seconds had another very good win. They're really flying. A very even match against Monkstown and the Tullow won 20, or against Sea Point and Tullow won 27-18. Sorry, I should have said Suttonians. I mixed up. I have a note here and it says Monkstown, but that's obviously a clerical error. But they won 27-18, a very tight match, and we have a very young seconds team now, and all lads who come up through the 18s, and it's good to have that. And some of them are pushing the firsts, and a few of them are subbing for the first last week. So it's good to report that the ladies had their first loss of the season, going down 17-12 to Barnhall after an incredible run of results. They're still top of their table, but Barnhall, I think, are only 1 or 2 points behind them, so they would be the main threat there. But it was in Barnhall, and they lost 17-12, so that was at the end of a long run. And underage teams, then we had a good run of results. The under 13 boys beat Dundalk 41-12. The under 14 boys beat Longford 43-5. Under 14 girls, Tom, I think the match was suspended with a frozen pitch.
Yeah.
Our under 15 boys beat Kilkenny 25-15. Under 16 boys, the match conceded by Longford. Under 16 girls had no match. It was just a rest week, I think, Tom, again. The under 18 boys, after having a few losses, got back on the horse and was great. They beat Derry 24-10. And the under 18 girls, the match was postponed as well because of a frozen pitch. But wins all around for all the matches we did play. So that was good. And as I said last week, our junior section is going really well. And most of the teams are on the top of their table. So nice to report that. So that's the overall. Apart from the ladies, it was a successful weekend for Tullow, and we're looking forward to the break now. Even though it's a long break, but we have a fair few injuries. Adam Johnson, who was really our form player this year, dislocated the shoulder playing for the college last Wednesday night, or Wednesday week. So he actually will be out till the middle of February, and he's a huge loss. Colin Gorry was out as well, as was Aka, and was Jordan Leyburn. So we're hoping that some or all of those will be back come after this break, which will be they're important players for us. So good to have those back. So that's it, Stephen from Tullow.
Absolutely good stuff, Paddy. Enjoy the break. I suppose gives the lads a chance to mend up. Tom, you went to face your nearest and dearest, the Athy. Last week we spoke about it. What way was it going to go? Is there confident enough at the moment, I suppose, and everything, but just got over the line, but right at the very, very end.
Oh, well, it was an unbelievable, cracking match. Absolutely cracking match. It was a game we're anticipating a ding-dong battle from the start, because we had gone over to Athy, and I said before we went over, lads just come back from the World Cup trip, and just weren't clued in, and we got an absolute dicking over there in the first game of the league. So everything was to play for from our point of view. As we had lost, it would have been basically an 8 point. We would have been down 8 points off first. Could have been 8 points off first place. So it was a massive game for us. So it got off. We got off well. We got a good forward try, put us 5-0 up, and then we had a really, really superb backs move, and Johnny Crossley.
Keep it up, Carlow!
Yeah, exactly. Just got the ball at the right angle and shot through under the post and put us 12. That put us 12-0 up. Then Ty came back with a try. So at half time, then it was 12-7. Then Ty got a penalty in the second half. Craig Miller got a penalty. Then it was 12-10. Then Miller we got away another silly penalty. Miller kicked another one. So we were we were down 13-12. Then I think it was in about the 70th minute or just over that. We got a penalty. Slotted it over, and that put us. Was that 15-13? That put us 15-13 ahead. At this stage, no, actually the 75th. Sorry, that was 75th minute. Ben put us ahead. Then they kicked off the ball to us. We gave away an absolutely ridiculous penalty, and Miller, who I thought was on form, missed it, and I thought, yeah, game over. This is brilliant. And we kicked off the ball, gave away a penalty. Miller slotted us through the post, and that put us 16-15 down with less than 2 minutes to go. So at this stage, we thought, oh, look, we just go for it. 2 minutes. Kicked off the ball. It was 1 or 2 plays, and they gave away a penalty. And Ben Crotty slotted the ball from somewhere around between the 10 metre and the halfway line.
Yes, he's earned his Christmas dinner this year, Tom.
Yeah, well, he that's twice. So he's done it to Kilkenny and done it to Athy. And Ben was actually, in fairness to him, he'd been actually dropped this week and was started on the seconds and played in the first half of the seconds, and then come off the bench to score the winner. So he was ecstatic. But look, there was some phenomenal performances. We're still not the polished article, but look, we've been dragging out wins and coming back in the last in games that we haven't done in another season. So like we're really, really happy with the performance of the players. They said, look, it's our accuracy in certain areas. Give away a couple of silly penalties. Like we played 20 minutes of that game with 14 men. We had 2 yellow cards. Athy played the full 80 with the full 15. So we had 2 yellow cards. One for a high tackle, and I can't remember what the second one was. I can't remember what the second one was. But so we played 20 minutes that game with 14 men. Our lineouts was superb. Young Joe Brown again. I think he stole 5 or 6 lineouts from Athy. A couple of really good games from Ian Atkinson. Dan Crotty had a really good game again. Owen Edgell was really up for the game. Owen got injured actually last season. He broke his hand playing the Athy and missed the whole second half of the season last. So he was delighted to be back having a go at Athy again. Look, a really good performance across the board. Even the bench that came on, Evan Gordon and Ross Byrne, Paddy Rogers, all those lads came off the bench and played really, really well. So we're delighted. It has put us in a good position, in the league now. Like we're only 2 points off Athy and 4 points off Cill Dara at the top. So, if we had lost that game, it would have been a totally different story. So, as I can say, there was a couple of sherbet drink on Saturday night to celebrate that game. The seconds, unfortunate. Second started off really, really well. We actually thought the way we were playing, we thought thought it has. But Athy turned around then, and Athy turned in the second half, and they ended up being 33-20 winners. It's a very good Athy second side, I have to say. Probably the difference between the two sides is we've been rotating an awful lot of players because of just the amount of players that we have had, and up training, and a lot of young lads back, and if guys are training week in week out, they all we've been trying to rotate players, and probably to our detriment at times, because we lost a bit of cohesiveness in the second half, especially when we took off a couple of players who had to bench on the first. But look, it is what it is. They're still a good side. They're still in the hunt, but we know they'll get back. We'll probably have to get the team settled down a little bit more. Just unfortunate because there was only a point between ourselves and a tie, so we're probably going to have to rely on other results now, So, which is a bit.
You can say it, Tom. You're relying on Kilkenny to try and beat a tie. We won't. You're allowed to say it,
Yeah, well, you've done a fair few favors at the moment, so we can't say anything. Just a couple of people who wanted to mention on that seconds team had really, really good games the weekend. Harry Forbes, Steve Tracy, good game. Ben, as I said, had a great game before he came on. We had Mark McDermott, who was home for the weekend, actually filled in at the last minute, and he was home from England. He's a superb player. Mark came on in the second half and had a storm, but not enough to carry the team. But look, they're a good second side. I have to say that they're a good second side. They'll have their chances again. As I say, we might have to rely on results like Kilkenny with James. They'll do us a favour, so hopefully. But look, we're in a good position. We're very, very happy at the moment with the amount of players that we have turning up training and putting the effort in, even on Tuesday night, Tuesday night after the game, we had a decent training session with good numbers. Like with the Southeast final to look forward to against Enniscorthy J1s on the 30th, so we're really, really looking forward to that. It's in Carlow, and we have the Southeast J1 final and the Southeast J2 final and the under 18s Southeast final as well, all in Carlow on the 30th. So a good day's rugby ahead of us. The youths actually had a poor weekend. I got to see kind of two of the games. The under 16s lost out to a really good Naas side, just beaten in certain areas of the park, but they're a side that 16s team is a side that's improving. Like they've gone from kind of a mediocre team, just kind of as their coach said, it was kind of a social team a year or two ago, but they've really, really got themselves together, and you can see potential. They're a team that are going to develop over the next couple of years, and I'd say by the time you get to 18s, there'll be a formidable side coming through. And sometimes you just have to blood players, and they've a lot of new players coming in this season, and it's good to see the really good coaching group there. The under 18s lost out to Boyne at home. Again, very young side, an awful lot of last year's under 16s on it. We're probably a little bit out muscled in the end, but they're another side that's really, really, really starting to. You can see the difference. They've massive numbers up training, and they're enjoying the rugby, and there's an awful lot of potential there for the team to progress. They're developing week in, week out. You can see that how they're improving. There's an awful lot of good young talents on that 18s team. A couple of games then were called off. So the rest, other than that, with no girls' games, Paddy said earlier. So, but look, we're in a happy position at the moment across the board. So fingers crossed now. Youths, this couple of youths games this weekend. So hopefully they'll have a couple of wins and be happy. That is all from the Carlow point of view.
Good stuff. And on to our friend in Kilkenny. Good win over Cill Dara, James.
Yeah. You're lucky to have me, lads. We had a bit of an emergency. Came in the front door and I could hear water, and I said, "Where in the name of Jesus is that coming from?" So got it sorted anyway.
Lads.
I know. Rugby wise is unbelievable. Like, I mean, we went up missing a couple of lads, but still went up fairly strong. Hold on now, go away. Still went up fairly strong. For anyone who's watching, my young fella's annoying me here. But we went up strong. It was an absolute humdinger of a game of rugby from start to finish. I think they went they went ahead, and then after that we just kind of took over. Our scrum pretty much dominated, barring one scrum penalty in the very first scrum of the game, which I think was only the referee making a statement on the first scrum, and they went to the post, put it over the bar. After that, we dominated the scrum. Conan Dunn went the full 80 and had his man beat up a stick. Rob Kelly had to go off, but it just worked well on the day. The lineup was superb, but it was the way we played the game. I think, Tom, you said last week, if you tear into Cill Dara and tear into them from the get-go, they're not able for it. And I'll be honest with you, they weren't able for it. They didn't like it. They didn't like when we went at them. Joe Manuel wasn't his usual self. He was playing number 6, and he just hit everything that moved. And I don't think they liked it all that much. And there was a little bit of niggle in it. Some of the niggle was instigated by us, but predominantly it was by themselves, And it was just one of those games where everything went in our favour and everything that we touched went right. Hugh Corkery was golden off the tee. But the first try was in about the 25th minute for us. Joe Emanuel off a driving maul. In fairness to Cill Dara, they didn't compete. They stayed down, and they stopped us initially and they drove us across the pitch. But then we just got a straight drive, and Joey went over the line. Corkery knocked over the conversion. Cill Dara kind of came back at us again. I think they went ahead, but the winning try was scored by Lyndon Brannigan, and it was as good a score as you'll see. Just the way we put the ball through the hands, the way we went through the phases. Everyone was looking up, scanning the pitch to see where the gaps and spaces were. We went through 2 phases on the left, brought it back right, and then we brought it back to the left-hand side. And Wes Carter, Ned Devlin did very well, fed Lyndon Brannigan, who had a lot to do to go over in the corner from about 15 yards out. 2 defenders coming across the pitch at him who were touchline, and Lyndon just went for the corner and went over. And I suppose then he drained the conversion as well, so that made it kind of 21-13. We had a man sin binned as well for kind of silly stuff, just repeated penalties, kind of high tackles and things like that. Then in the last couple of minutes, Cill Dara had a chance, penalty to them, more bit of silly niggle from them on the ground, penalty reversed, their man was sent to the sin bin. We went back up the pitch, we didn't get a score, but we got out of that zone. Then they came back at us again in the last kick of the game to get a penalty to try and get a bonus point, and their kicker put it well wide. So there was great celebrations at the end, not only for the fact that we won, but the fact that we stopped them getting a bonus point too. So, I think that did the league a big favour in context of kind of putting us back in the mix, but opening it up again for kind of a tie and the chasing pack, a tie Carlow and ourselves, So it was a great win, one that we're chuffed with. It's been a while since I walked away from a game that we've won with such a smile on my face, because it was sweet. Because I genuinely believe they thought they were going to hand us our asses on a plate, So we did very well. And I'm talking a little bit, how would I say, a little bit hostile here, but I think it was just that type of game that needs that type of commentary, Seconds just did well. I mean, it wasn't the win that we would have been expecting for the seconds against Cill Dara. As you said last week, Tom, they seem to have gotten their act together at seconds level, and they have a team out now. They're not kind of pulling 11, 12, 13 lads to go to a match. They have a 15 and a few subs. So it was a good game. We probably didn't get the scores we deserved in it, but I think they won it. We won it 13-3. But it was a great game of rugby. Just the lads kind of went at it. Martin Leahy came back out of retirement again for the second or third time. So I'd say Doc and Stevie Ashmore, Stevie Talbot will be looking at him at some part of the season after Christmas to win with the firsts as well, just to hand some cover for some cover. But again, for the seconds was young Barco there, who's only playing rugby, I think 6 weeks, and he's one of the stars of the show for the seconds. Robert Boyd, Martin Leahy, as I already mentioned. For the firsts, it's very difficult on the first, just to go back there, to pick out any player who stood out over one another. But you'd have to look at our back three of Lyndon Brannigan, Ned Devlin and Tristan Leffers. They kind of led from the back, and they were doing lots of cover and tackle, receiving lots of kicks from lots of kicks in the backfield, and they did really well. The two guys in the centre, Podge Mahan, it's great to have Podge back. Podge Mahan and Hugh Corkery in the centre. Jake was at 10, and Stephen Atkinson was at 9. So kind of a little bit more stability in the back line. Great win, puts us back in contention, opens the league up, as I said. It's great to win the year on that front, or to end the year with kind of wins for firsts and seconds away to a strong club at the moment. The women finished the season. They had a very strong win away to Wanderers in Dublin. It was great for the girls to finish the season again on a high. As I said last week, they went four losses on the bounce. So to go to Dublin and get that win, it's just important for them. It just kind of steadies the ship towards the end, coming into the new year, and then kind of gives them something to focus on. So from that front, it was great. Youth rugby was a bit of a quiet weekend because all of our home games were called off. The pitch was badly frozen last Saturday morning. As Paddy mentioned, the under 15s had a loss to Tullow. So it was kind of a quiet weekend, but look, we'll get back into the full swing of things this week. So all in all, it was good. We're meant to have a club party tomorrow, but that's been postponed, be called Christmas party, just because of player availability. We were going to be doing an overs versus unders game, but it's been pushed back to the following week now. So look, at happy enough with everything as it went, and look forward to the new year.
Absolutely.
I apologize. I didn't get through my notes tonight because I had a flood when I got home. So I'm trying to do it off the cuff there.
I know you're grand, James. Well covered. No, it's a great chance to get a couple of players to heal up over the next couple of weeks. Is this a longer break than normal? Is it?
I think so too. Yeah, it's 5 weeks, so I think it's longer than usual, isn't it?
Yeah, it was normally one more round. I always thought of Division 1A games before Christmas. I thought they went on a week after.
Yeah, because
I forgot to mention too. What James reminded me when he said about the pitches being frozen. Our 3G was in big demand last week because we played both our matches on it, and then Naas were playing Buccaneers, and they came down and played it at 5 o'clock in the evening after our two matches. So the 3G stood up to that pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have to jump now, lads. I have to get these kids fed. So I leave you alone. Take care. We'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Life, James. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks a million.
See you, James.
Thanks to James for jumping in there on the podcast to give us an update on everything Kilkenny. Lads, the August was wrapped up. Should we spend a few minutes talking about this weekend? We're recording this on a Friday. We're coming into Champions Cup weekend. Leinster, I suppose, our local province, so to speak, got out of jail against Connacht. It was such a messy, weird sort of a game. But Leinster got over the line in the end, but Connacht were pretty good.
Yeah, Connacht really showed this. They scored 3 superb tries and took their foot off the pedal a little bit for the. Now the final Leinster try was a superb, clean try, but I think did Connacht take the foot off the pedal or go into defensive mode after getting those 2 tries? There were superb tries. All 3 Connacht tries were. It's great to see it, and they have a new 3G over there as well, which suits the style of play they're playing, and hopefully they can do it against. Is it Bordeaux they're playing at the weekend?
Bordeaux tonight.
That's tonight, yeah. So they'll be up against it there, but it's a home match, and hopefully the crowd will lift them again like they did last week. I never saw a crowd as quiet in my life at the end of the match, and understandably so. They were stunned into complete silence, and you'd feel so sorry for them because there were such a good crowd of supporters all through the match.
I'd say they were absolutely gutted. Absolutely.
That's terrible. Just like a tie last week, Tom. Just like a tie supporters last week, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Breaking hearts again.
Yeah. It was. I think Connacht's rugby is fantastic. Their style of play is really, really good, and I think they use their players very well. The ability to their handling skills are superb. And Bundyaki is back in the centre, I think,
He's
this
back
weekend.
tonight. That's
Yeah, so
fantastic.
that's a massive gain for them. Massive gain to have him back.
Yeah, and Hansen was at his best last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's
Really
just
shows,
he's a class act.
class.
He sure is.
Yeah, I think Leinster were really, really good. They're not firing off all cylinders. Like they could be really good in patches, but they're not firing on all cylinders at the moment.
No,
I haven't.
and that was one of the observations.
I'm going to say I thought the Clonburn was poor, and he's now starting again. He's starting this weekend, and Mr. Frawley's on the bench.
I agree with you. I would prefer to see Frawley starting.
I'd be very disappointed because I really thought that they would have given Kieran Frawley the chance at 10 for this one. I think they're going over to play. It's a bit of a weakened La Rochelle side. I think Leinster are actually going in really favourites of this match.
Rodgers up in the stand.
La Rochelle hasn't.
Rodgers in the stand,
yeah, he got another week's ban. And he's getting really peeved over there. This is the fourth official seems to have something against him by a lot of matches. But they're missing a good few. They're missing Aldrich and a couple more from the still haven't come back. So
Eddie Thomas isn't out.
He got a ban as well. He's gone as well.
Yeah, he did.
They have they're missing a couple, and they're also mid-table of the top 14 this season. So they haven't had a good start to the season. I know, like, it'll be Leinster coming to town, but I probably might still give Leinster the edge. I know they're missing a couple of players, but I think I'd like to give Leinster the edge on this one.
I would too. Two surprise selections.
I really am disappointed that Kieran Frawley didn't get to start at 10.
Is there any word, Tom, privately coming through contacts in Leinster about why he's not being selected? Is there any words going around about that?
No, because anyone I don't know about Paddy and Tullow, but anyone that's switch on that. But there's nothing coming back. Everyone here is kind of There's a lot of lads in Carlow kind of have a soft spot for Kieran because we know him because he played like the lads played against him, and for Skerries in the final and stuff, and we saw him at the very start of his career.
He was absolutely brilliant against Munster, wasn't he? And he was pushed in there against the odds and not having prepared for that match, and he nailed it. Like, he was every bit, in my opinion, nearly as good as Crowley that night, if not as good, And I agree with you, Tom. I'm disappointed he's not starting as well. Harry, I don't think he's playing as well as he played a couple of years ago. So this is a huge test for Harry.
I don't think he is, and look, I don't know. Look, we're not being paid to do that job, so I'm presuming that they know they have the reasons why, and they see him in training and whatever else. So, there's a lot more to picking players than just the match on a Saturday. So,
I think some of it is that he can. I think isn't some of it that he can cover. The Frawley can cover all positions nearly, and therefore he's nearly too versatile for his own good.
Yeah, this is the issue. That's the issue. We kind of said this over the last while that Kieran Frawley is one of those players that is playing in so many different. He's playing centre, he's playing out half, playing fullback, and he hasn't really had one position. Whereas. You bring in the likes of, say, Crowley and Munster. He either plays, he plays out half. He can play full back, but he's been let play out half where he should be.
Yeah, you need to run games in that position.
Yeah, it's the same. Like Rossburn was the same at Leinster. He kind of never really played. Might have got a game or two in the centre, but it's mainly been out half. The same with Harry. But look, we want to wish them the best of luck, and hopefully they'll do it because they deserve to beat La Rochelle. To be honest, like they really need that win.
It's lovely to hear that those good wishes from a Munster man, Tom. Thanks very much.
Feck off.
That's in the old Munster. And speaking of Munster, how do you see them going this weekend?
Well, look, they had an amazing win last weekend. Against Glasgow. Some of their back play was superb. Their handling has improved. Their game has improved, which is great to see. It's great for Irish rugby. Now we have three provinces playing a very similar kind of style. That there were we went out with good with ball in hand and attacking rugby, and so like we can't say anything, but it is good. It's good for our future. Some amazing like Munster have had a lot of lean years and a lot of time where they were playing just horrible stuff. No good to anybody. But in the last 2 or 3 years have really come on. Their mall defence was terrible at the weekend. You'd be really worried, concerned about that, especially against a big French. It'll more than likely is a big French pack. I haven't seen the team, the Bayern team, but French being French, I'm sure it is loaded with size, and I'm sure they would have watched the video and seen that Munster's defence, mall defence last week was poor. They're missing a few players. Daly, Daupo, Barn, Oliega, who just started last week, is injured. And then they have O'Mahony and Klein. So that's a lot of serious injuries, to be missing for this game.
Front.
But look, I hope they can do it. It's in Thomond Park, so they'll have the 16th man, and they're a tough team to beat down there. So let's I hope.
I think they'll do it. Despite all those injuries, they have a very strong pack out, and it just shows you that Munster are developing serious strength and depth, particularly in the forwards. You're talking about their backs there. I'm really impressed with the way they're able to run the ball for nearly a full new set of backs, and they're running the ball superbly. So whether that's down to Crowley or what, but fair play to them.
You have Crowley. Murray showed us that Murray back again this weekend. Murray's going to start this weekend, so a bit of experience there too. I think that's in there to balance out some of the younger players in the back line that they have. But Crowley has an old head on young shoulders. He seems to be. He's getting better and better and better, and people have a lot of the players seem to respect him, and that's a huge thing for a young 10 to have that respect from players. I think. Well, look, I want to wish them the best of luck. I think Ulster have a tough one. Which is Batter on fire at the moment.
Batter going very well, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of money spent. As
hell of a lot of money.
And our friend, what's he called from
Van Graham.
Van Graham's,
Johan.
Johan, and he's got his lovely war chest there to start the season. But I think that's a really tough one. Ulster haven't been playing well. They got beaten at the weekend there again. So I don't know what to make of them. I think it'll be their
coach. That's in Ravenhill, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think their coach will have a lot of time left on his contract because they haven't really. They seem to rise, and then they go to a plateau, and then they don't really seem to go beyond. They haven't seen for the players that they have. Sometimes they play really well, but they just seem to fall at the last hurdle. I don't know. They're just missing something up there.
It'll be interesting to see does Kitsoff make much of a difference. He's starting, or is he in the subs? He's starting, but it's his first game anyway, and he will because they'll have a fairly strong pack, particularly if he's a good part of the game. So that'll be interesting to see the pack go. They have a very good pack out. That Ewers fella that's come over from Exeter, he's Zimbabwean. He's a hell of a player. He's 35, but he's a great catch for them as well. So they have the stars in the back, but they're not doing it, Tom. You're right. They're just not doing it, and they have potentially stars, game breakers in the backs, but they're just not putting it together.
No, it's a really odd one. But that's look. It's a pity because if Ulster could just play a little bit more like the other three provinces are kind of putting them, to just play. They're reliant on that big pack, they get an awful lot of maul tries. That young lad, the hookers has scored. I think he scored 2 in the last game. I
presume he's subbing tomorrow, is he? It's sure to start again, I think, anyway. But that chap is probably subbing, is he?
Yeah.
It's the prop I'm thinking of. The prop man scored a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, they're I don't know. They're just missing something, and because they have the players, they have the players up. They have players, and they seem to, and they have a couple of young forwards coming through. We'll all take this on the Irish, but I mean, we all have a bit of crack over cheering on teams or whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's to get the
Oh,
four
yeah.
provinces, keep the four provinces firing with our own homegrown players is the most important thing.
It's
in any
hugely
sport.
important. Yeah.
You know, we have to
Yeah.
keep it up. And 6 and 8. I didn't see that. I think the summer or the internationals came out this week. I think for the summer. Is it the summer internationals?
They're going to South Africa.
Going to South Africa.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's tours coming up. There's the Six Nations coming up. So we want to see them. We want to win the Six Nations again. We want to go and win the Grand Slam. You know, we deserve it. We absolutely deserve it.
Interesting first match away to Marseille against France this year. So I'm planning to go over to that. It'll be an interesting change of a venue.
Where's that, Paddy?
It's the French match because they're getting ready to start France for the Olympics. The Ireland are playing France in Marseille on is it the 4th February? But that should be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be a bit. That'd be a good one to go to, Paddy.
Yeah, no, I have her go.
Very good.
Good stuff. Lads, enjoy the weekend. These are all quiet this weekend, which is good to get a chance to watch some of those Champions Cup games on the telly, including tonight. Thanks a million to Paddy Brown, Tom Crowley, and James Blanchfield joined us earlier on the podcast as well. We'll talk to you all next week. Have a good one. Enjoy the rugby.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen. Cheers. Bye. Bye.